Okay, guys, I'm back. Ooh, okay. I don't know if that'll come back on or not. Anyway, can't stop. Okay, right. Okay. I don't know. That could have been it could have been a copyright situation. I don't know. It's still sitting on green, so we'll see. We'll see. Um at the end of the day, it might have to be cut out, so I don't know. Girl, we're back. I'm just like when you get that if you ever get that type of flag, it's important to that's why it's always important to have your YouTube monitor up at all times because in StreamYard, you're not going to get those notifications. But whoever said copyright something, thank you. Um, I appreciate that. That was helpful because when I clicked over to my monitor, it said something and I was like, ooh, let me get up off of here. So that's okay. It's still up. I just put it on unlisted because I might have to go in and edit. If you're here now and you weren't here before and you're wondering what I'm talking about, um it may or may not be back up. I don't know. It's on if you were watching, it's on Facebook. It'll be on Facebook and maybe I'll just download it and post it over to Patreon. It'll be fine. Um okay. Now where were we going after this? Hold on. Something not copyrighted. Okay, girl. Let me just check and see what happened with my stream over on Facebook. If it's even there. Hold, let me just see. Was I streaming on Facebook? Let's see. I'm streaming on Facebook now and I did stream it on Facebook. So yeah, if you're here and for some reason the live goes away if they decide to take it down, I'm not sure if whatever. It's on Facebook and it's fine on Facebook. So anyway, it hit a flag. We're back. We're back. We're back. We're back and we're better. Okay, well we were getting ready to wrap some things up, but I did want to show this too. This is okay, so we're going to get Schabusiness first. Let me go to hold on. Let me go to my queue and then okay, girl. Hold on. Okay, hold on a second. So you guys get the point, girl. Vallow, baby. Okay, so we were just talking about Lori Vallow. Lori Vallow did an interview. The interview I felt was really good. She actually talked more in this interview rather than make excuses and beat around the bush, but she didn't give substance and detail. And her lawyer was there, so we know why. Um, Tomorrow is going to be an important day. Now, as far as everything that happened with Charles Vallow, the messed up thing with Charles Vallow is that the person who actually killed Charles Vallow and spoke and said that they killed Charles Vallow is also dead, which is Lori's brother. And he had some sort of blood clots in his lungs. I don't know if they gave him something and did him in, but her brother was a fool out here and he was basically doing a lot of Lori's dirty work and he is deceased. So I'm not really sure if there are emails or text messages connecting Lori and her brother and Chad in some sort of plot to take Lori's brother out. I don't know. I don't know, but I guess we're going to find out how cuz there's nothing that says that she did in her brother, but there's no so I guess what I'm wondering is if there's information now. Her brother's wife might have information about um, the murder of Charles, but I don't know. We're going to find out tomorrow. That's what we're going to find out. We're going to find out everything tomorrow because in the opening statements, the prosecution is going to lay out their case and Lori will have to lay out her defense. So, in saying all of that, we will know most of what we're going to know tomorrow. Now, is Lori going to get up on the stand? I do not know. If Lori decides to take the stand, as she was saying before YouTube so rudely cut us off, was that she is going to have to, let's say she has a list of 10 questions, her advisory council will have to administer the questions and she will have to sit and answer. They are not going to let her do a narrative style um they're not going to let her just sit and talk. She has to be, hold on a second please. What's going, uh-oh. Oh, I was gonna say, what is going on? Okay. She's going to have to sit and answer questions. Enjoying the life from the bushes. I'm glad. Okay. Alex thought he was Lori's savior. They played him. Do you think that there was some sort of intervention that they did to have it look like blood clots versus natural causes? I mean, I'm sure they probably really examined to see if she murdered her brother too. Um, it's possible. I don't even know. It's possible. Let me refresh my screen for my other live if they did something to it. Girl, that thing might be gone. Okay. All right. Okay, so what I might have to do, so if you were just watching that live, what I'm probably going to have to do, that whole Lori segment is probably going to be cut out. Let me see. Is it giving me the option? Take action. Okay. Okay, we'll trim the segment. Okay. So it'll still be there, but if you're watching this right now, the live that was up will still be up. It is there now. But it's going through a edit process from YouTube. But if you want to watch it in its entirety, what we went up to the first hour and a half, it's uncut on Facebook. Okay. It's there on Facebook, so it should be fine over there. Let me drop the link to it if you want to watch it. And we'll post it over on Patreon as a public post. So, but if you see here, you can catch it uncut. But over here, it's gonna be they'll edit that segment out because it's got a flag on it. So I have to fix it. He probably did. Yeah. This his whole the stress of that lifestyle that he was living did him in. Because I cannot imagine that doing all of what they were doing was not stressful, right? Okay. Period. Okay. Okay, so you got that, guys. This is the whole video. Probably in the next 10 minutes, it'll be that whole segment will be gone. But that's okay. All right, hold on a second. Let me pin this to this one. Baby. I had that happen to me once before and I was not paying attention and I can't even I'll have to tell you guys sometime what happened. It's a good YouTube do's and don'ts story time. It's a very good YouTube do's and don'ts story time. And baby, if you don't catch that on time, they send you to a very bad place that if you YouTube on a regular that you don't want to go, they send you to YouTube jail basically. Okay, hold on. Let me see. We'll do this one. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna still redirect you guys. Okay. What was next that I want? Okay, this is what I wanted us to talk about. Okay. Over here. Here we go. Okay, so let me just now he was looking very strange this whole time. Um, so her lawyer, they were waiting for court to start. I'm going to talk over a lot of this because at the end of the day, let me tell you, when this thing went down, it went down fast. Okay. So, and then they went to the flag, but okay. So he was looking weird. Let me go back to this for a second. He was looking weird. He was looking around. I don't know if he sensed something. So let's say this. So Taylor is back in court because apparently I think she attacked a guard. So she's back in court for that reason. He's looking very suspicious. I don't know if she said something crazy to him. I don't know what the reason was surrounding why he's looking so sus right now, but let me fix this real quick, guys. I don't know why he seemed to be looking so suspicious of her, but it's giving a little weird, right? So next thing you know, this is going to happen. Let's just so he's looking around. Ma'am is sitting there contemplative. I don't know if she's maybe the voices in her head are going off right now. He actually talks to her. They seem like everything is good. He leans in and it seems okay, right? Catch this tea. Catch it. He's reaching for the microphone. He's entering his appearance. Hold on. He's like, "Hey, how you doing? You doing good? Okay, how's
All
it
right.
going?
Court will call 24
Are you okay?
and
Okay, let's
48
handle
State of
this
Wisconsin
business.
versus
You're gonna be
Taylor
okay."
Schabusiness appearances.
Gordon Leach for the state.
Taylor Schabusiness is personally present. She is in custody with Attorney Curtis Jelka.
All right. This matter is set for a preliminary hearing today. Mr. Jelka, what's the status?
Your Honor, my understanding is we are proceeding.
All right. Mr. Leach.
Your Honor, I'm just checking in on the status of my officer. I expected her to be here, so, but I'm also having connectivity problems here. I might need to run upstairs and see if she may be upstairs. If I can have her.
Sure.
And Judge, it sounds like just one witness. We're asking for sequestration, but that may be a moot point.
All right.
Keep your eye on her. Look, you see how she just gave a crazy eye? This is going to happen really, really fast, but it's like, what is wrong with her? But this is not the first time she's done this, guys.
For sequestration, but that may be a moot point.
All right.
It is one.
See that? She got crazy eyes.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
God. Hold on a second. Okay.
That may be a moot point.
All right.
It is one witness, Your Honor.
All right.
They knocked her down like a pancake.
It is one.
Did you see how quick he knocked her down?
It is one.
One hand. He was like, get down. Girl, they had 6 officers.
We're off the record.
Oh my God. I had to take off my glasses, girl. I got tears all up in my eyes. Hold on. To what?
Record.
Y'all, my husband came in and said there's really something wrong with her, and I was just like, period, absolutely. It was the lawyer throwing up his hands. Okay, hold on a second. I tried to find a synopsis for you guys. Basically, Taylor Schabusiness. I'm trying to think of in a nutshell, what could I say? So, number one, for any of you guys, she's actually married. Her husband supports her. Um, she Let me see if this tells the story. Okay, here we go. Let's see what this one says. Taylor convicted of gruesome murder, now accused of crime in prison. In Fond du Lac. Taylor Schabusiness, the woman convicted of killing and dismembering. Okay. Hello, if you did not know, killing and dismembering Shad Thyron inside a Green Bay home, February of 2022, is facing new charge according to court records. Schabusiness is serving a life sentence in Taichida Correctional Institute in Fond du Lac. According to the criminal complaint, July 24, Schabusiness requested medical attention for a staple that was lodged in her arm after a reported fall. The sergeant, later referred to as the victim in the complaint, handcuffed Taylor and took her to the medical room to meet the nurse. The nurse states in the complaint that Schabusiness was laughing the entire time, and when the nurse asked what was so funny, Taylor responded that nothing was funny. The nurse then warned Schabusiness that it might hurt a little bit as she approached with tweezers, but as soon as the tweezers made contact with the staple on Taylor's arm, she pushed the nurse out of the way and lunged out of her chair and at the nurse, according to the complaint. At this time, the victim stepped in so the nurse could safely exit the room. Taylor and the victim struggled with a medical tray, which at one point she swung at the victim per the complaint. The victim stated her head was hit. So this is an officer. She had bruised ribs and her arm hurt. Additionally, the victim was exposed to pepper spray during the altercation. Schabusiness is facing 1 count of battery by prisoner. She has a preliminary hearing scheduled for February 7th at the Fond du Lac courthouse. Okay. And what we saw was the situation that just happened recently. So that was the reason why she's at the courthouse. But in terms of the reason why she is in jail, Taylor Schabusiness was convicted of killing and dismembering Shad Thyron inside a Green Bay home, February of 2022. On the third day of trial, the jury found Schabusiness on the third day of trial. A jury found Schabusiness guilty of. Every time I say Schabusiness, y'all, I want to laugh so bad. On the third day, this was a 3-day trial. On the third day, for the 5th time, a jury found Schabusiness guilty of first-degree intentional homicide, mutilating a corpse, and third-degree sexual assault. She molested the corpse, guys. Okay, she did that. Yes. The jury reached the verdict after little more than a half an hour. During closing arguments, the prosecution argued the case was crystal clear. This is bizarre. Brown County District Attorney David Lassie said this is strange, this is unnatural, but it in no way unclear. We know exactly what happened. We know exactly what Taylor intended to happen for all three of these offenses. The defense argued the case was unclear. Can you trust what someone says when they're hopped up on meth, on drugs? Schabusiness attorney Christopher Frolick, the state wants you to look into Taylor Schabusiness's mind to find out what her intent was. That's a difficult task. During the testimony, the jury saw new video of Schabusiness interrogation. During questioning, Schabusiness admitted to the police that she strangled Shad and did other gruesome acts to him. In the recording, when asked by police if Schabusiness wanted Tyron to be dead, Schabusiness replied saying she did not and that it was random. Initially, that was some of her comments was that it hadn't intended. The Green Bay police detective David Graff said, but once she started to strangle Shad, that she found that she enjoyed it. And so she kept on strangling him. Graff testified he had two separate interviews with Schabusiness. She was quite frank in being able to answer questions and ask questions, Graff said. Graff testified that Schabusiness used knives from the kitchen of the home to carry out her grisly crime. She knew Shad was more than she could carry in terms of being a whole body. Graff said during the interrogation, Schabusiness told the police exactly what she said. According to the criminal complaint, Schabusiness and the victim were smoking meth at her apartment before going to the victim's mother's house and engaging in sexual act that involved strangulation. In the interrogation recording shown to the jury, Schabusiness told the police she played with the body after she realized he was deceased. I'm saying it like that. The criminal complaint states that the victim's head was found in a bucket in the basement. The complaint explains that body parts were found in the basement and additional remains were found in a crock pot box in a van that in a van at Schabusiness's apartment. According to the complaint, Schabusiness intended to take all of the parts with her, but she said she got lazy and forgot the head. This is a mess. A total of 28 witnesses testified for the state. Witnesses for the prosecution included Tyron's family members, law enforcement, a medical examiner, a DNA analyst, and a friend of Schabusiness and Tyron's. The defense had a witness, but told the judge they were unable to attend due to a medical issue. So she had a witness. She had someone to testify for her, but they decided to not because hold on a second. Did that one did they come back? They ended up coming back and finishing up court, but not at that moment. I'm going to be honest with you. I'll have to go back and find what they actually we could actually watch that hearing, but hold on a second. Let me finish up this little article real quick for you guys. Just in case those of you who did not know who she was and what she did. This woman is certified nuts. The 28 witnesses. Okay, so her witness did not show up. They had a medical issue. Judge Thomas Walsh denied the defense's motion for a mistrial. The judge later asked Schabusiness if she wanted to testify, but Schabusiness denied. The trial is being done in two phases. The first is regarding the Schabusiness's charges. The second is scheduled for Thursday. We'll focus on whether Schabusiness is responsible for her crimes or if she is suffering from a mental disease or defect at the time. And that's it. That's enough, right? You guys get the gist of what sis got going on. Sis is bonkers, okay? Baby, a mess, okay? Oh my god. His little sister. Awful, right? Very much giving awful. Thank you to Hey Bougie Gang. Happy to be here. Oh, I'm so happy you're here. We love you here. Thank you. Thank you for supporting, sis. I appreciate that very much. Okay. Okay. All right. If you guys have not been catching Lori's pretrial, it's been very interesting. I haven't covered a lot of it. I haven't covered any of it really. I've been watching her pretrial. It's been pretty interesting. We'll get into opening statements tomorrow. I don't know if we're going to cover the whole thing. There's going to be plenty of channels covering it. If you guys want to get your Lori Vallow on here, excuse me, Lori Daybell. She wants to be called Lori Daybell now. We can do that. So I'll run it here if you guys want to get together and talk about what's going on. This is Lori down here in the corner. But that's what happened with Taylor Schabusiness. Taylor lost her shit during court. If you guys missed it, she was right here, and we're gonna run that back so you guys can.
Taylor Schabusiness is personally present. She is in custody with Attorney Curtis Jelka.
All right, this matter is set for a preliminary hearing today. Mr. Jelka, what's the status?
Your Honor, my understanding is we are proceeding.
All right, Mr. Leach.
So they are there today because Taylor went to the infirmary. She had a staple lodged in her arm. The nurse is giving treatment, and she basically bucks and kind of threateningly positions herself to the nurse. And the nurse leaves the medical room, and the security, the correctional officer, I guess, commenced to get a beat down from Schabusiness. So the security officer was attacked. What is her mental diagnosis? It's got to be fucking crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what else could it be? But I don't know. All jokes aside, I don't know. We'll have to see. Let me see if I can find if they've actually given her a diagnosis. But it's got to be. It can't be anything other than nuts, right? Just a second.
Your Honor, I'm just checking in on the status of my officer. I expected her to be here, so, but I'm also having connectivity problems here. I might need to run upstairs and see if she may be upstairs. If I can have her.
Sure.
And Judge, it sounds like just one witness. We're asking for sequestration, but that may be a moot point.
All right.
It is one witness, Your Honor.
All right. We're off the record.
Okay, so this is what I found. I'm not sure how this matches up to today, but this is what I can tell you. So the whole picture doesn't add up. Those were the words of the independent forensic psychologist about her interaction with Taylor Schabusiness. Schabusiness is accused of killing and dismembering a man in early 2022. With her trial now only days away, the final decision still needs to be made on whether she is competent to stand trial. Diane Litton told the court she believes Schabusiness is not competent to stand trial. She said the defendant threw a chair at her during the first attempt at meeting in February and refused to discuss her case. She then suddenly got up from the chair, yelled, went to a corner of the room, picked up a chair. Fortunately, it was a plastic chair, and then she threw it at me across the room. First time in 32 years anybody threw a chair at me, Diane Litton explained. Schabusiness, who refused to speak to Litton again later Friday, but they eventually met last month. Taking questions from the prosecution and the defense, Litton said that she believes Schabusiness does not fully understand the proceedings and cannot participate in her defense. Despite her knowing the basics about competency judgment and guilty pleas, she still exhibits a lack of insight and judgment. about her case now to act in court, how to help her defense attorneys to understand the proceedings. She describes her findings that the evaluation was bizarre, saying Schabusiness expressions do not match the context of the situation she's in. She said that she had a thing. Oh, goodness. She said that she had a thing with Jeffrey Dahmer a year ago, and just numerous comments about Johnny Cash being on a train. She went on and on about a train, how loud it whistles, and how Johnny Cash apparently overdosed on the train. The emotional expressions that are on her face don't match what she is talking about. Linton also said that Schabusiness often went off topic. She reported that we call command hallucinations, telling her to hurt herself and other people and other people. She also discussed what Schabusiness told her about the day she attacked the former defense attorney, Quinn Jolly. I asked her about the attack on Jolly and her thoughts were at the time, and she said, like, courtroom, carnival, atmosphere madness in her head constantly. The judge will not issue a ruling at this time. He has to wait for a third court appointed evaluation, which will happen next week. Investigators say Schabusiness killed Shad Thyron after having sex with him at his mother's house in February 22 and dismembering the body. Police were called when the mother found her son's head in a bucket. Schabusiness pled not guilty by reason of mental disease or defect, Wisconsin insanity plea to charges including first-degree intentional homicide and mutilating a corpse. She was supposed to stand trial last October, and then February. October's trial was rescheduled after the defense faced delays in getting its competency evaluation for the client. February's trial was rescheduled after Schabusiness physically attacked her attorney in court and he withdrew from the case. She is on her third public defender. As of right now, her trial is scheduled for July 21st. The judge has previously said he's not confident that testimony for both evaluations will be completed before the jury selection. So, but spoiler alert is that she was convicted. What is her diagnosis? Let me see if there's another article or anything else about this, but for 2025. But spoiler alert, if you don't know who this woman is, she was already convicted and she is doing a sentence. The reason why she's in court at this moment is because she went to the infirmary to have a staple removed from her arm, and sis went berserk in the nurse's office and beat up a damn corrections officer. Okay. And she's sitting there. Her attorney is, he's giving his update, and baby, she went fucking berserk. Okay. She was using methamphetamine, and I don't know if maybe if meth, over a period of time, I'm not sure how much she was using, gives, I would imagine there's some sort of brain damage. I don't know. The mysterious world of drug behavior. It's possible. I'm looking at something now where they're talking about her as it relates to meth usage and what can happen to you using methamphetamine. It's possible this could be the after effects of someone who's been a user. I don't know, but she's a nut job. Okay. Sis crazy. Okay. All right. Baby, a whole mess. Okay. Hold on a second. Let me get to my next thing. Is this the first time she got her lawyer? Let me see. So she's done this twice, but I'm seeing something. I'm not sure if this is okay. All right, I'll have to find the hearing because the actual hearing did go on. They went ahead and put her in a room. They continued with business, but they put her in a room and she had to watch remote, which is what she needs to do. This woman really doesn't need to be, in my opinion, she doesn't need to be out around people in the free world. She needs to be very well watched and not to be played with because obviously something is wrong with her. Um, let me see if I can find, because Friday, when did I watch that? Let me see if I can find it really quick. When she went to court, her hearing, I was absolutely shocked by her behavior, but then again, not, because what do you expect? She's she's a certified nut job. So she basically, I think they were giving her credit for not being a nut job. And she is someone who you have to really take seriously. That ma'am is totally out of order. She's totally out of order and you can't play with her. Okay. I don't know if I'm gonna find it. It's okay. I'll find it. The prayer for Lori Val. Okay, that's not it. A whole mess. Oh, is this it? Okay, so she actually ends up on. Okay, so if you guys want to hear, okay. Hold on. So the lawyer immediately asked to get off of the case.
This Schabusiness is now down in the jail. She's appearing by Zoom in the jail.
She should have been down there to begin with.
Motion, she yelled, stood up.
Okay, do you hear this?
This Schabusiness is now down in the jail. She's appearing by Zoom in the jail. The last time we report, there was a commotion. She yelled, stood up. She was then physically detained, moved out of the court, and moved down to the jail. It appeared, I didn't see exactly what happened with it. It appeared that she had tried to get at it. And so the court does now find that Ms. Schabusiness is waived her right to be present during the outburst. Are we prepared to proceed with the preliminary hearing?
Yes, you are.
Your Honor, I'm requesting to withdraw at this point in time.
So he wants to withdraw and
For this hearing,
so he denied it. Hold on a second. Sorry. Okay, so he says, Your Honor, I put in a motion to withdraw, and the judge says no at that moment, because he's like, we're gonna get through this business today. So
Your Honor, I'm requesting to withdraw at this point in time.
your request is denied.
you're gonna handle this business, sir.
For this hearing, State versus Case 175 was second one. You can continue for this hearing, and then you can withdraw after that.
Okay, fine.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state does call.
He said, okay, fine.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you shall give in this matter before the court is truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I do.
I am liking her little hairstyle. Do you see? I mean, a lot of times you see a lot of women with not necessarily sporting a style. She has a whole, it's kind of like a little protective hair pulled back with a bun. I'm like, okay. Okay, sis, with a little style.
If you want to state your name and spell your last name correct.
Christina Milan. Christina is with a K. Milan is Meilahn.
Mr. Leach.
Detective Milan, where do you work?
I'm a detective at the City of Fond du Lac Police Department.
As part of your duties as a detective, do you on occasion review the reports of other officers?
I do.
And as well as, do you also review sworn complaints that are filed with the courts?
I do.
And are those complaints, what do they typically rely upon?
They rely upon the reports of the officers that respond to different complaints or incidents within the City of Fond du Lac. They also rely upon witness statements, videos, any other evidence that is brought to the attention of the officers or investigators as they're putting together their case.
Do you know an officer, Lindsay Lupke?
I do.
And have you reviewed reports of Officer Lupke in advance?
I have.
And do you find that Officer Lupke is accurate and truthful in the reports that she makes?
I do.
Now, do you know whether Officer Lupke investigated an incident at the Cheetah Correctional Institution that occurred on July 24th, 2024?
I do.
And how do you know that?
I reviewed the criminal complaint for that matter.
And was that a sworn complaint by your agency?
Yes.
Whose report did that rely upon?
Officer Lupke's.
Thank you. Can you tell us what, who was involved in the incident on July 24th, 2020?
Objection, Your Honor.
Oh, it's you.
Well, I know hearsay is admissible at preliminary hearings. I don't believe that there are any personal observations from Detective Milan involved. So she's, in essence, a conduit for hearsay and doesn't have any information of her own to benefit the court.
Mr. Leach.
Your Honor, as Attorney Jolko pointed out, the court can rely upon hearsay. Detective Milan has testified that she has reviewed the sworn complaint in this matter that does rely upon Officer Lupke. Detective Milan further has testified that Officer Lupke is reliable or trustworthy in the reports of the investigations that she reports upon. I believe that would give it sufficient reliability for purposes of preliminary hearing today.
You can answer the question.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yes, thank you. Do you know who was identified as being involved in the incident that Officer Lupke reported on that occurred on July 24, 2024 at the Cheetah Correctional Institution?
Yes, it was an inmate at Cheetah Correctional Institute, which is located in the City of Fond du Lac, County of Fond du Lac, State of Wisconsin, by the name of Taylor Schabusiness.
All right, and are you familiar with Taylor Schabusiness at all?
Not from personal interactions. I have reviewed her photo spread through the Department of Corrections for inmates, which provides her physical appearance.
All right, do you find that reliable?
I do. I use it often.
And can you, did you see Ms. Schabusiness here in court at all today?
I did.
All right, when was that?
Earlier around 8:30 this morning.
All right, and do you see her?
Why is she? You see Taylor?
Today?
Hold on. You see Taylor? Taylor is looking like, what the fuck are you talking about? I wasn't in the courtroom. Like, you're tripping. Are you kidding me? Like, she's looking like Bitch, I wasn't just in court. Who are you talking about? I wasn't even in there. Why are you lying on me? Taylor is giving full on. What in the hell are you talking about, sis? I wasn't even there. I don't even understand why you guys are lying on me like that. This is ridiculous. Girl, let me get my thumbnail. This will be my thumbnail. Okay, let's keep going. This is only like 14 minutes and we're already 6 minutes in, so it'll be over in like 9 minutes. So just bear with us.
I did see her represented in the courtroom today.
And you see her now.
Yes, she's on the video screen to my right.
And what is she generally wearing? You just described.
Orange jumpsuit.
Your Honor, I'd ask the record to reflect Detective Mylon has identified the defendant in this matter.
Mr. Johnson?
Your Honor, no objection, subject to cross.
The record will
Detective Mylon, what did Officer Lupke report occurred at Ditchita on July 24th of 2024 involving Ms. Schabusiness?
Taylor had indicated that there was a staple in her arm and a request was put in for a nurse to remove it. One of the correctional officers at Ditchita, a female sergeant, was tasked with bringing Taylor down to the nurse's office so the nurse could remove that staple. While in the nurse's office, Taylor began giggling, and then a short time later, when the nurse was in the process of removing the staple with the tweezers, Taylor lunged initially at the nurse. Then the sergeant pushed the nurse out of the way and began to try to gain control of Taylor to get the nurse out of the way. And in the process of that, metal tray from the nurse's room was grabbed by Taylor. The correctional officer believes she was struck in the head by that, does not believe she was concussed, but then reported in the course of struggling to get Taylor under control, received bruising to her ribs and pain in her arm.
And did the, was it a sergeant, I believe you said?
A female sergeant, yes.
Thank you. Did the female sergeant, did she report having any pain from being hit in the head?
She reported having pain from the entire incident and did seek medical treatment for potential injuries.
And did the sergeant say whether she had consented to Ms. Schabusiness injuring her in that fashion?
She indicated she did not consent to that occurring.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Johnson?
Thank you. Detective, did you review the video in this case?
I did not.
So you're solely basing your testimony on the criminal complaint today, is that correct?
That is correct.
So, just to review, the moment prior to the alleged lunge, there were 3 people in the room? Is that your understanding?
From the criminal complaint, that is my understanding.
And are you familiar with Ditchita, whether they have any process for identifying or making sure they have the right patient in the room at any given moment?
I'm not overly familiar with their procedures, but I have responded there for numerous incidents, and most inmates do have a number or a system for identifying them.
You don't know if Ms. Schabusiness was wearing any such identifier that day, correct?
I don't know that.
So the moment prior to what you described as a lunge, where were the parties positioned, if you know?
I can't say other than the nurse was in the process of taking the staple out at the time, so within close enough proximity to do that.
Okay. And just to take it a moment further, Ms. Schabusiness allegedly lunged at the nurse.
lunged or caused some motion in which the sergeant was concerned for the nurse's safety.
And then, did the sergeant effectively intercept her, or did she actually make contact with the nurse, if you know?
I know the nurse was asked if she was hurt. I'm not sure if it was direct contact, incidental contact, but there was questions of whether the nurse was injured.
Now, the person described as the victim in the complaint, that would have been the guard, is that correct?
The female sergeant, yes.
Okay. And she indicated the number of injuries, including pain in her head, but short of a concussion, bruised ribs, and a hurt arm, is that correct?
Correct.
Did she attribute how her ribs had been bruised or her arm had been hurt?
It was not stated in the criminal complaint if she mentioned that.
But the head injury, I guess, would be related to a tray hitting her?
It was inferred that, yes.
You don't know anything about the specifics of that tray, correct?
I don't know any specifics other than the nursing trays that are used by nurses.
Okay. Was there any exclamation or sound that Ms. Schabusiness made before she allegedly lunged?
The only thing that was discussed was like some giggling or some laughing that preceded that. The exact timing of that proceeding was not outlined in the criminal complaint.
Okay. So you identified Ms. Schabusiness as the defendant earlier today, correct?
Yes,
You have no way of identifying her other than the complaint as the person present in the room at the prison, though, correct? You didn't see any video, you weren't there?
I wasn't there. I didn't see that. The sergeant identified her and the nurse identified her from previous contacts.
Okay. Thank you, that's all I have.
Any reader?
No, Your
Are you missing something? Mr. Leach, any other witnesses or evidence?
No, Your
Mr. Jelka, any witnesses or evidence?
No,
Mr. Leach?
Your Honor, without argument, the state asked for finding.
Mr. Jelka?
the judge would just briefly argue the identification. Detective Island identified Ms. Schabusiness based on booking photos. Doesn't have any personal knowledge of who was present in the room at Rashida, didn't even see the video, so I would move to dismiss, the argument being the identification was inadequate at this time.
The court will find probable cause that the felony was committed, was likely committed by Ms. Schabusiness. The case will be followed to.
Judge Nails.
Mr. Leach, do you have any information?
I do, Your Honor. I'm providing a copy to Attorney Joka and to the court.
Mr. Jelka, subject to local tenure, local substitution, do you want to proceed with an arraignment?
Your Honor, that was my understanding for today. I would defer to Ms. Schabusiness if she still wishes to continue with that today.
Ms. Schabusiness, do you want to proceed to an arraignment today?
She's like, why the hell am I here? Why are y'all talking to me?
Yes.
I don't even understand what you people want from me. And she's looking very bothered.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your Honor, I have
Yeah.
received the information. The charges appear to be identical to the criminal complaint. Would waive its formal reading and subject to 10 days to decide whether to substitute would enter not guilty pleas.
Not guilty, please enter this matter. We schedule moving forward. Anything else from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Jelka, anything else?
No, thank you.
Please adjourn. Thank you.
It's one of those, like, I love this for her. She's quite a character. If her crimes weren't so gruesomely disgusting, it would almost be funny, but it's not funny because she is a horrible person. And I mean, she's over here attacking lawyers, and people should be able to do their job safely. I mean, you have a public defender and somebody's coming to try to help you, but I mean, clearly she is not someone that you can take this personally from, because this woman is clearly ill. Something is truly wrong with her. So it's almost like you can't take it personally because she is very much a nut job. So um I'm I'm glad that the attorney, stood there, represented, handled business. I mean, you may as well get your check. The bottom line is that even though she did attack him, he was very well protected, because that security guard knocked her down so fast. It was a dirty shame. It was like, sis, why did you even try and do that? Like, that was almost embarrassing. Okay. Anyway, gosh, we came back for a full hour already. Wow. Well, look at us. Okay. Look at us and look at what we did. Okay. Oh, I'm looking at the girl. I'm looking at the wrong live. Okay, hold on. Okay. So like I said before, if you were watching the live before, part of it has been cut out. Like, there's still, I have to watch it to see like what was left in it, but I did drop the link to Facebook where it is residing, uncut. I hit a copyright flag. It was probably just a bit too much on that particular video. So it is what it is. But if you want to watch it, it's over on my Facebook. And what's my Facebook? Real Talk Bougie. Just type in Real Talk Bougie. It's there, but I'm gonna drop the link right now. Okay. So the previous live uncut is on Facebook. Otherwise, it's here, but it's cut. Um, some whatever piece hit the flag, the copyright flag, that's what I automatically let the computer just cut out. What was it? Whatever it was. They have like a tool, and I used the tool. I cut it out, and now it's fine. So anyway, Miss Schabusiness looks constipated. Oh, you guys are with the jokes today. Okay, very cute. Cute. She looks demented. She looks deranged and demented. The only other thing I wanted to talk about today was Kimberly. Her lawyer was mad because somebody got a Foia and showed the pictures inside their house. The stepmother, let me say it right, the stepmother who kept the stepson captive along with the dad, because let's not leave him out, but he's deceased, so we kind of can't hold him accountable. She's the one. And that being said, it's kind of like at any point you could have let him go, like, but because his condition, what could you actually do, right? um but let me see, let me go to my queue. It's in my watch later queue. But yeah, her lawyer was pissed because there were some pictures that were put out, and I guess he feels like she is not going to be able to get a fair trial because um there's been so much put out, and he didn't think it was fair to his client. Let me see if this is the one with the pictures in it. Hold on. Her lawyer is, I hate to call him kind of a clown, but he's very kind of clownish. Hold on a second. Okay, let's see. Just to put it into some context first, okay? Let me put it into some context. Okay, here we go. Kimberly Sullivan, Waterbury, Connecticut.
Look inside the water.
This works out. Hold on a second. Girl, I'm like, this has some arms on her. Hold on a second. Sis is fit.
Home where a man was held captive for 2 decades. The 32-year-old set fire to the house last month to escape. He weighed just 68 pounds at the time of his rescue. Police arrested his stepmother, Kimberly Sullivan,
Isn't that
who was
awful?
pled not guilty to the charges, including assault and kidnapping. NBC Connecticut's Jeremy Chen.
At what is Jeremy looking at? At any point after her husband passed away, I mean, I almost feel like she can't use the excuse that this was her husband's doing, because at any point after her husband passed away, why didn't you let him go? Why didn't you ring the alarm so someone could come help you? And why did it have to be the fire department come because he said, I'm going to live. Today I'm choosing me and I'm going to set a damn fire. I'm getting the hell up out of here.
Joining us live in Waterbury with a closer look at those photos tonight, Jeremy.
Yeah, Keisha, this is a case that has captured the attention of the nation, and now we're getting an inside look into the conditions police say the stepson lived inside this home about the past 2 decades. Now, this all came about due to a Freedom of Information Act request. Neighbors, first responders, as well as experts left shocked. These photos released by Waterbury Police paint a picture of the conditions inside this home on Blake Street. Investigators say it's where Kimberly Sullivan held her 32-year-old stepson in captivity. Here you can see the staircase that leads to the second floor where police say the man was being held. There's also a
Now, some of that could be soot, but I do believe that house was probably filthy.
Picture of a lock.
It's just her eyeliner, her makeup, her demeanor is giving she was living in like a hoarder house. Yeah.
The victim told police he was locked in a room from the outside.
Very sad and sickening, just disturbing.
There's also photos of a bedroom and bathroom all cluttered
Bro,
with
that's not from the fire. You see what I'm saying? That is not from the fire, ma'am. Your house was nasty.
Items. And then the kitchen, where first responders...
Baby, there was no fire down there. Look at that nasty house. Sis, your house is disgusting. That was all you. She can't feel like the press is doing anything. Like, if that's how you want to live, sis, that's your business. But as far as trying to hold someone captive, knowing the police are going to be coming and taking pictures and you're going to be held to account, it's like, too bad, so sad. That's your nasty house.
Say they found the victim.
And the victim was called up in a little ball underneath the table. And then I went up to him, scooped him up, and then just took him right out the front door.
I saw the mother and at the time what I thought was a child in the kitchen. He was in the fetal position in the kitchen.
Former Fairfield Police Chief Gary McNamara says these pictures will support what the victim has told investigators about life inside the home.
A lot of these crimes are hidden from view and they're hidden from the public. This gives us a pretty clear picture of what life was like inside that house.
We're also getting a look at photos from what appears to be the Waterbury Police Evidence Room. You can see a door wrapped in police tape propped up next to shelving with what looks to be evidence bags. We also have photos of an apparent door frame that had a lock on it. Neighbors say this only adds to the horror they've felt since the arrest earlier this month.
I don't understand how anyone could live like that.
Now, we did reach out to Sullivan's attorney about the photos. His response, quote, no comment. Sullivan will return to court on April 22nd. Live in Waterbury, Jeremy.
His comment was no comment, but then did a press conference. Hold on a second. That was his comment, but then he goes and does 14 minutes on live. Is this the one?
So thank you for coming out. Thank you for coming out. We are holding this press conference today to respond to the release of information that occurred yesterday. Yesterday afternoon, as we were sitting here with our client, reviewing a lot of the same information that was released, we were notified that there was a dump of information by the Waterbury Police Department. Needless to say, we were shocked at this. In 22 years of doing criminal defense, this is the first time I've had literally the discovery in the case that we often struggle to get, and we often wait months to get, to be released to the general public.
I mean, it's a new world now. The information gets out. It's not the same as it used to be.
It was shocking.
And people also know how to get it, and people also are not afraid to request it. You might not like FOIAs, but FOIAs, we have the right to know. We pay for the police, and we pay for a lot of this stuff. So we live on these streets in these neighborhoods, and we have a right to know what's going on.
To say the least. I can't explain why it would be done. The only thing that we could think of is that it's clearly being done to sway public opinion. As if there weren't enough people rooting against my client already, as if there weren't enough people that had already made up their minds and convicted her. We believe this grossly reckless act by the police department, or intentional in reckless disregard for my client's constitutional rights. Good afternoon, everyone. How's everyone doing today? All right. So thank you for coming out.
I feel like I like this view better.
We are holding this press conference today. We believe this grossly reckless act by the police department, or intentional in reckless disregard for my client's constitutional rights, was just completely inappropriate. Completely inappropriate, and I can only imagine designed to, one, bury positive information that came out yesterday, and two, further erode my client's chance at a fair trial. And what I'm referring to, yesterday there was some information that was released regarding the 2005 investigation. And interestingly, it was carried by one media outlet, to my knowledge. One media outlet reported that in 2005, the police went to the home. They spoke to the individual. They reported that he appeared healthy and happy, and that the residence appeared normal and lived in. Almost every other media source, we counted at least 13, ran articles about the pictures depicting the inside of the house and the body cam video that was released. We can only think that this additional information, the photos and videos, were released to bury the truthful, positive information that came out yesterday. Clearly, the police don't want it out there. That when they went to the home, the individual appeared happy and healthy, that the home appeared normal and lived in. What was done yesterday was shocking and completely inappropriate. I'll take your questions.
So it was done through a FOI. Catherine Hauser from our station asked the police, and she was very specific about photos. Why would that be a violation if it's a Freedom of Information Act?
So there are exceptions to Freedom of Information Act. There are exceptions for cases involving domestic violence. There's exceptions for cases where the case is still pending in court. In 22 years, I've always been denied when I've wanted information about a pending case. It's very convenient that it is released in this situation. And not just that, it's reckless. It is completely reckless. We are in the middle of a very high-profile case with a lot of attention and a lot of minds made up all over the world. It's not just here, but all over the world, people have convicted her, okay? We were just in court talking about how we need to protect her right to a fair trial. And then to turn around and have this happen days later for no reason other than, I think, to feed the public hysteria.
Will you try to move this trial out of Waterbury to ensure she gets a fair trial?
We may have to do that at the appropriate time. We may file a motion for change of venue. This is being covered everywhere. what we're really going to need is some jurors that can keep an open mind. What we have is millions of people behind their keyboards, behind their monitors, having convicted her without knowing anything about this case. I've seen the evidence in the case.
Look, let me just say something real quick and I'll let the rest
I'm
of it
not
play. First of all, number one, this guy was 68 pounds and there were locks on the outside of his room. She can say it's her husband all she wants. When he died, she had every opportunity to open the door, call an ambulance and get him out of there and say, my husband has been abusing us and he made me lock up this boy, his son, for years, and I'm dreadfully sorry, or whatever. She had every opportunity for 2 years since that man's been dead to let the young man go, and she chose everyday violence. Okay, so that's just my opinion. Whether that makes her guilty or not, you know what I'm saying, I'm not the judge or the jury, and I don't live in Waterbury, but at the end of the day, it sounds stupid. The man's gone, he was in a wheelchair. You could have let the boy go. Your sister, there's your half sisters, the evil twins, they could have said something. What's your mom gonna do with the bad eyeliner? What's she gonna do? Somebody could have said something who knew something. The boyfriend who's dealing with the crazy twins. Okay, one of the twin sisters has a boyfriend. Why didn't you say anything? Okay, so boyfriend of a crazy twin, the crazy twins, and the mother. Somebody could have said something after the father died. So it tells me that it's all Miss Sullivan. At the end of the day, we'll watch and, see, like, okay.
I am confident in our case.
Are you confident you'll be able to find enough jurors that don't know much about this case or haven't created their own opinion about the case yet?
We're going to spend a whole hell of a lot of time trying. Okay, and I hope there are still people out there that will keep an open mind. Because a lot of people haven't. A lot of people think just because of the allegations, she shouldn't have rights. She shouldn't even have a defense. The fact that we're standing here defending this woman offends a lot of people. Well, that's just too bad. So we intend on giving her a defense, and we intend on questioning every juror we can until we find those impartial jurors. And if we can't find them in this jurisdiction, then we will move to another one.
So are you saying that police should have not complied with that FOIA that we all put in there?
I don't believe the police should have released that information. They initially denied, and then there's a process. I've never gotten anything from the police in a contested situation that quickly. And all of you are reporters. You have experience with FOIA. You have experience with police departments. How many cases do you receive all the discovery from a pending case?
Well, maybe not all of it. I don't mean to interrupt you, but in certain cases, we'll get body camera footage and we'll get, plenty of video pictures, particular evidence when it involves certain cases.
Maybe you don't know how to request it, sir.
Different.
Well, I think this is different because we have a case that is pending in court. There was a denial of the request initially. It is something that the police department could have continued to deny and allowed it to go through the FOIA process, allow it to go to a hearing. No decision or ruling was made. The police department voluntarily turned it over. They were not under an obligation to turn it over at this time. They could have continued to deny the request. They chose to release it. The timing is suspect.
When did you get the photos?
I got the photos only days earlier.
What did you think?
Within a week. So, and here's something that everyone should know about these. When I get these photos, I can't share them with anyone. I can't even give a copy of these photos to my own client because we would get in trouble because the rules prohibit it. But for some reason, the Waterbury Police Department felt it appropriate to disclose all that information now.
What did you think of the photos when you saw the photos?
They were photos. They don't prove anything. In fact, look closely at those photos. What do you see? What do you not see? Those locks. There's exterior locks on multiple doors. Some are a latch. A lot just had a simple keychain. Ask yourself, is that the restraint that's going to keep someone captive 20 years?
He
Where are
needs
the
to
handcuffs? Where are the
he needs
chains?
to stop on
Where are the
that.
signs of restraint?
It was mental torture. She threatened him with food. He didn't have any resources. He'd been locked up since he was a child. He had been brainwashed and trained. Everybody doesn't have to be held with chains. Sometimes the chains are in your brain. Do we need to talk about that? Sometimes the chains are located in your brain. You're so afraid, you're so conditioned, you're so frightened that you won't even go out a door. How many victims have we heard of people abducted, trafficked, all kinds of things? Not to mention he had like atrophy in his legs. He couldn't even really walk. He probably was like dragging himself, crawling, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just I don't even want to put a name to it to sound disrespectful, but his legs had a sort of atrophy to it. He didn't have full range of motion. This is not a guy who had been, like in a movie, like exercising and getting stronger and making himself into like a superhuman. This is a guy whose whole entire existence is giving victim. He was victimized. His body was so traumatized. They couldn't even give him, like, you would think, oh, let's load him up on food. He has to have a slow recovery, probably IV treatments before he can even really start eating food again. Even though he was eating 2 sandwiches a day, he was wasting away like somebody who's 93 years old and on their deathbed. So I mean, I understand he's doing his job, but he's really got to pick his defense more carefully, because it's going to make her look even worse, and it's going to just make him look stupid. Okay, we're almost done.
Those pictures raise a lot of questions if you look at them objectively. If you haven't rushed to judgment, if you don't look at this through the lens of everything that has been said about my client is true, and you step back for a second, you're going to see that a lot of things don't add up. So the pictures, I think, are put out there to make her look bad because the house appears messy. Oh, there's an exterior lock here. Let's all
That's
jump
not
to
messy.
conclusions.
That's disgusting.
There's a long way to go from these allegations to anything proven at trial.
John, the pictures might not raise a ton of questions, but I think a lot of people, what's come out in the press is the 68.7 pounds. That certainly has raised a lot of questions. I know you haven't wanted to explain any of that, but do you understand why that would raise a ton of questions?
Of course.
Some of the specifics in the warrant about not bathing for a while, not getting a haircut for years, the food, the alleged drinking out of the toilet. Do you understand that would raise a lot of questions?
Yeah, and it's troubling behavior. And I don't know why he was drinking out of a toilet, but that was reported in grade school by the principal before any alleged abuse ever began. So let's put that in context. Okay, the principal reported that years ago. I think the claim was that he was drinking out of a urinal long before any alleged abuse, but no one's questioning that. No one's looking at this objectively. And as far as his weight, I haven't seen any medical records yet. And there may be other explanations for his weight. Ask a doctor. That's not for me to explain. There could be a lot of reasons, and we may raise some more of those questions, but now's not the time for me to guess as to why he was 68 pounds. What I can tell you was there was food in the fridge, there was food in the cabinets, she brought food home.
But was he allowed to eat it?
Yes, absolutely. And you all wanted to hear from her. Thanks to the Waterbury PD, you now have heard from her in that body cam. She was asked, were there locks on the doors? Was the door locked? No. Is the door usually locked? No. Does he have free reign through the house? Yes. Those questions have been asked, and they've been answered.
So where do you think all these allegations are coming from? I mean, these are very specific allegations in the warrant, tons of them.
Yep.
So where do you think those specifics are coming from?
I have some thoughts.
What are they?
Those will all come out of trial because that's the appropriate place for it. Trial, cross-examination. It's real easy for someone to tell a story and everyone just to accept it as true. But when tough questions are asked, and that's what cross-examination is for, stories fall apart.
So what do you do from here?
Hopefully, we stop getting surprises from the police department and we can focus on the job we need to do, and we could focus on preparing this case and fighting it in court. That's where we are going to have this fight. We're going to have it in court, and we're going to prepare every day for that fight in court, and we're going to be ready when that fight comes. I don't want to be going back and forth to court arguing conditions of release. I don't want to be dealing with news dumps or dumps of files and having to respond to this allegation or that allegation. I'd like to focus on the discovery, prepare a defense, and do the job we were retained to do. We are confident in our case. We're confident in the arguments we're going to make at trial. We hope that we could get our client a fair trial, and we hope that people stop engaging in reckless behavior that puts her right to a fair trial in jeopardy.
Have you heard from the Waterbury Police Department or the Attorney's Office about why these documents were released and were released?
I have not heard from the Waterbury Police Department. I have spoken to people at the State's Attorney's Office. I'll let them speak for themselves, but it is my understanding that this wasn't something that they released. But that's something you discuss with them, obviously.
Can you talk about your motion that you filed today and what you're hoping to achieve with the preservation of documents?
Absolutely. So we've asked, both by way of a letter and by way of a written motion in court, that all communications, all documents, all emails, all memorandum, all information relating to the release of this information be preserved. We question the timing of it. We question the motivation of it. And we question why it was done at all. And all those issues may be relevant. Depending on who testifies at trial, their motivation, if they were involved in the release of this information, their motivation may be relevant. Their biases against my client may be relevant. So we've asked that all this information be preserved. It may be important later to arguments we raise, both with respect to venue and to the cross-examination of potential police witnesses.
Was there a gap of time in which your client left the scene? I think there was about an hour in which Ms. Sullivan left the scene and came back. Is there an explanation for that?
I'm unaware of any issue like that.
Going back to the body camera video, your client says there are no locks on the doors, right? But the pictures show locks.
No, the question was the door locked? And the answer was no.
And she also was asked, did he have free reign of the home?
Correct.
And he says no. She says he did. Can you kind of explain that?
Yeah, she answered it. He had free reign of the home. I don't know why he's saying he did not.
How do you explain the locks that are shown on the photos?
Those were locks that predated her even being in that home. So those
This
locks
is
were
what I
on
want to know.
Those doors before she ever moved
When
in.
they ask the victim about his life and when he was taken out of school in the 4th grade and he never got to go back to school, he never got homeschooling. He got 3 books and a notepad. When they ask why you were peeing, all of the evidence that they could collect of him urinating out of a window, creating some sort of device where he's urinating out of a window, years and years of urine coming down the side of the house. There's going to be things that they're going to be able to reveal that is part of his experience for over 20 years that is nothing but child abuse, okay? And now abuse of an adult. So I'm sorry, no matter what they can say, you deprived him of school. You deprived him in, you have a big house, and this is clearly the room that he was living in. You deprived him of comforts of someone who actually lives in this home and can live on a bed. He slept on a floor for years with a blanket. He didn't even have a decent resting place. How are you going to say that that's not abuse? At the very least, it's some sort of horrible abuse, right? So you got to be kidding me. I mean, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how this trial goes, but it's also like you can't you deprive the man of enough food to actually become a man. You deprived him of dances, teachers, education, having a relationship with a woman. Maybe in his future he'll have that. We don't know, but hopefully he'll be able to recover. But you've deprived him of a lifetime of experiences. And yes, he has a lot of life left if he survives all of what was done to him. Dents, okay, they said he had no teeth. He's severely malnourished. Life, seeing, he's seeing life through a window. He's seeing all of his neighborhood friends. Do you imagine looking out the window and seeing your friends graduate from high school, seeing your friends leaving to go out on a Friday night and Saturday night, seeing your friends walk by going to school, coming home from school, seeing the fights, seeing the playing, seeing Halloween? The man was looking out the window the whole time. He never got a first kiss. He never had a girlfriend. He's never had anything. This guy has been completely deprived. He's never had a decent relationship with siblings. His siblings are fucking weirdos from their mother. They obviously were some level of abuse too. The fact that they would never say anything, the fact that the boyfriend knew allegedly is crazy. Very horrible circumstances. I don't care if they want to spin it to make it seem like this guy opted in. He could have just got up and walked out. He said his earliest memory of being locked up and deprived of food was 3 years old. Okay.
And some of those some of those locks remain. And once you walk in the house, the first door to the right has a little chain lock. But then it also has an opening where you could walk out the other side of it. So those were there. They mean nothing.
What about the claim about his teeth being rotten and when he would eat, that some of his teeth would even break? Any truth to that?
What I can tell you is the first video I saw of him, he was eating a Butterfinger.
He's probably sucking on it. Like, let's be real. If he doesn't have teeth, he's not biting into a Butterfinger. Produce medical records that show, as a step parent and someone who's married to the parent, that you took this boy to the doctor once a year all his life. Provide evidence that when he was under 12 years old, you took him every 6 months. Provide something that says you took him to Little League or football or soccer or to the beach. Produce show us a picture where he was over in Cape Cod or over at the Jersey Shore. Show us something where he has been out of that house for longer than 10 minutes in the backyard. Show us something that shows something that you guys ever did for him other than throw him a bottle of water and 2 damn sandwiches.
I don't know about his teeth, but it seems like that would.
This press conference was a mistake. Right now, like this, for me, if I were a colleague, I would say you should have been off this live 5 minutes ago. You know how people go live and they fuck up because they stay like 5-10 minutes, an hour too long? This was a live where they stayed too long. Once he said his piece, he should have said, "Thanks everybody, have a good day." That's it. You decided to take questions and now you're looking stupid.
Not be.
Was the video taken when he
days after?
Days after?
Yeah.
At the hospital?
I am not, I would prefer not to comment specifically on too much of the discovery. Who knows? Maybe the police have released that video too. I don't have a full grasp on everything the police released. It's my understanding that they've released even more videos than just the one video and the 42 photographs. I haven't been able to confirm it independently, but I believe at least one news source has more body cam videos as well.
Everybody good?
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
He was dumb, but good. That's good. That's good for the prosecution. I'm sure they're happy that he you know, it's always the prosecution doesn't mind when the defense talks. This woman's actions are in there's no defense, there's no medical records, there's no school records, there's no friends. The friend that came out, they said that there was a lady who knew Kimberly, a best friend. Even they'll probably try to say that's not the best friend. There are people who said that they had no idea that this person even existed. And the people that knew of son, okay, even the brother of his uncle, even his uncle from his dad's side, who knew and were like, where's so and so? Where's male victim number 1? It was he's not here, he's gone, he's disappeared. The birth mother said that when he turned 18, allegedly, according to her, because there looks like there's some issues with them too, but we're not going to talk about that. She said when he turned 18, she was trying to find him on Facebook, Instagram, social media, all kinds of things. No trace. She didn't know what happened. She had no idea what happened. Now, anything else on top of that, you know what I mean? She's not on trial. She did give him up for adoption to the baby father. He married that woman, and you know how it was 30 years ago. 30 years ago, yes, there was baby mama drama, but she gave him up. Maybe she had some other issues and she thought it was the best thing at the time, or you never know, he might have been crazy. We don't know what that whole situation was about and why she gave him up, but she gave him up and let his father take him. So she gave up her parental rights. Anyway, awful, sad, terrible story. But we'll be keeping an eye on it. She was at court. When did she go to court again? Let me look on my bulletin board. I don't think I have anything on here. 3/24. I know she has court coming up again. I'll look at the docket and I'll find out. I'll look at the docket and we'll figure out what's going on. Okay. So much, lots going on in April. You know, Nesto's is that at the end of this month? Girl, April, is that April 30th? Yes. I need to put him. Why is Nesto not on my bulletin board? Okay. Let me clean up my bulletin board and get these dates set up. It's probably in my calendar, I'm sure. Anyway, guys, you guys have a good rest of the afternoon. I'm going to come back with some Nesto a little bit later. I might do it like 10 o'clock after I know Farrah is asleep because I don't want to disturb her nighttime routine. So I might wait till like 9:45 because she normally goes to sleep around 9:30. No, it's a court date, girl. No, you already know if there was trial starting, if it was jury selection, baby, we would be all over that right now. But no, it's a final plea, but the final plea should lead us into a date being set, unless there are more delays. I've said this like 10 times and I'm going to say it one more time. I don't understand why Eric Dunaway has not made any decisions on these motions. I would like to know why there are no decisions made on these motions. I don't even get it. So when they go to court for the final plea, that's all well and good, but can you please make some decisions on these motions so a trial can be set and we can move on? No, the only decision that has been made has been the gag order. That's the only open item. There have been motions limine. There have been motions to suppress. There have been all kinds of motions with no decisions. What's going on? Let me tell you, the other day when we watched Stephen Starnes in court and the attorney wanted to have the media taken out of pretrial, he said, I'll have a decision for you in a week. He had a decision in 2 days. Did he have another hearing to talk about it? There's no hearing required. He filed it on the docket. There was no extra hearing. There was a docket update. Denied. The press can be here. They will be here. Now, there are some other motions that are he's still deciding on, but at the end of the day, every single item does not need a hearing. And also, like, to that point, when Dunaway put up the denial for the gag order, he didn't do a hearing. There was a hearing. They talked about it. Tight Suit Roberto thought he was going to be cute and mention a whole bunch of bloggers, reveal and dox people in court for no damn reason other than to be a complete ass. Okay. And then the judge made a decision. Girl, he's on worse than CP time. I don't know what kind of time that man is on, but allegedly Blabbermouth says something is going to be happening. I don't believe it, because he can file all of the motions, everything that he wants. All it's going to do is delay court more. And we see that. Judge Dunaway is not quick to make a bunch of decisions. And unless there are decisions that are made by the time they come back to court, some rulings and orders. We're looking for rulings and orders, okay? That's what we need. Rulings and orders. Other than that, if Roberto's going to try to throw a Hail Mary, he's got some sort of fancy footwork motion he wants to do, Nesto can be here and sit in Cobb County till next summer, because that's all that's going to do. He's going to file something, and then Will Wooten's going to come back with 250 pages on why not. And then he'll feel some type of way because he's going to get dragged and roasted all over the internet. And then he's going to take off for his very important RICO trial he's getting ready to do. And Nesto will be celebrating another Thanksgiving, another Christmas, another birthday, another anniversary with his boo thing, another Nesto Sonia anniversary. He's going to have a whole nother year of sitting in Cobb County, if he's lucky, if they don't send him back to Rice Street. But I'm just saying, he's going to have a whole nother year behind bars. Okay. Let Roberto continue to muddy the waters and file all these motions, baby. You know what I'm saying? I'm planning vacation for the summer. I can watch the trial anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Have phones, iPad, computers, will travel. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now. I don't know why Nesto's team feels like his lawyer doing his job is bothersome to people. Ain't nobody losing sleep over what Nesto got going on. Only person needs to be losing sleep over what Nesto got going on is Nesto being very uncomfortable. Shirley has moved on. We are out here free living our lives. And it's the victims who are suffering. Okay. The victims, the people who are out of their money, their coin, their resources, their names, all of those things. The victims who have been the victims, like the sexual assault victim, you know, unfortunately for her, his children, the people who have lost money and resources behind this clown. They're, you know what I'm saying? It's more unfortunate for them. They're the ones who are really waiting. And those are the people who really should be mad. If you think the YouTube streets is mad behind some Nesto and what happens, baby, stop. Okay. Okay. I got about 25 cases I got my eye on. I cannot sit there and waste energy being mad over this, that, and the third. That's not what this is about for me. Okay. This is about watching the legal process and seeing how it works, doesn't work, what the maneuvers are, what the court process is like. Baby, ain't nobody personally involved. Ain't nobody running down there praying and wishing and hoping for any of these for most, I'm gonna say 99.9%, because shit. Don't forget Roberto's filing will be full of clerical errors. He's not someone who pays attention to detail. It's horrible. Okay? It's horrible. We've seen mistakes in his paperwork before. Okay? If he wants to call himself she, her, sis, all those things, baby, that's on him. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? It's 2025. That's why I didn't get in the mud on that. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? If he's referring to himself as all of those things, baby, that's your business. Okay? We're here for the facts of the case. Okay? Anywho, okay. It's a multifaceted, absolute. There's so much going on, and so much going on with many, and nobody expelling emotions over it. You know what I'm saying? It's disrespectful to the true victims to think anybody is really mad. It just speaks to the lack of compassion and knowledge when certain people, blabbermouth and busybody, want to think that people who have nothing to do with this case are actually mad. Ain't nobody mad. The people who are mad, honor them. There are people who are mad. So a woman who is out of $191,000 cash money, a teacher who was flim-flammed through penis and money. Okay. Hey, Mbakati. Hey, how are you? All of his victims, all of the indictment, just read through the indictment and the host of names that go through this indictment. Those are the people who are mad. Those are the people who are mad, hurt, bothered, scammed. Those are the people who are mad, baby. Okay. Enough. I'm going to go ahead. Let me go ahead and let this go so you guys can watch it. If you missed the first live, if you want to watch it before I hit a copyright flag, which is not a big deal because I addressed it immediately. And it is still posted, but the copyrighted parts that were problematic are deleted out of the video. The computer already did it, but if you want to watch it uncut, I dropped the Facebook link so you can go and watch it at your leisure. I'll download it and upload the uncut to Patreon. So basically, you could say part 1 of Sunday Lip Service is uncut on Facebook and will be on Patreon. And then we've got this part 2. I'll be back later tonight and we'll talk about the Cobb County visit. We'll get up into Nesto and them. And I did get those screenshots and stuff from over the years when WBLK News and damn Ms. Waller were bothering folks in the comments. So I do have that, but I don't know if we're going to do that tonight. We might save that for tomorrow at lunchtime. Okay. All right, guys. I love you guys. Today was fun. Thank you for supporting. Make sure to thumbs up this live for me. And if you are inclined to share, I appreciate it so much because that's how I grow. All right. That's how we continue to grow over here. Sharing. If you're caring. Okay. Okay. All right, guys. How do you like the new backdrop? That's cute, right? I was like, ooh, I love that. Okay. Okay, guys, you guys have a good one. I'm going to go make us some food to eat and relax for a bit, get my room to unpack. Why am I still semi-packed from like my last trip? I'm the worst unpacker. Oh, God. I hate packing and I hate unpacking. Anywho, let me give you guys this too. I can't seem to get off of here. Let me see. I posted this as a throwback. Some of you guys watched it, but let me get the link. So the other day when Sonia called Tomaz Mazi, you'll watch this video I'm dropping right here. This will give you a good reason. If you make it this far in the video, I will have this as the next linked video. I will make sure that I attach this as a linked video. This is the story of King Mozzie, who was in the comments over on Shirley Strawberry's Facebook page, warning her 10 years ago about the man that she was getting ready to marry. If you have not seen this video yet, it's a must watch if you are following this case. Okay. If you're following this case, it's a must see, period. Okay. It is absolutely essential viewing. Okay. All right, guys. Love you. I will see you guys a little bit later. The link is right here. Okay. I'm right here. Go check that out and drop me a comment and let me know. Was Sonia trolling? Sonia's trolling. Never heard her call her son Mozzie, but there's a guy in the indictment, Mr. Stokes, who is AKA King Mozzie. At the end of the day, his story reads like a combination of what he did to Miss Bickham. Not the money per se, but low-key selling him a motor coach, but the motor coach didn't have clear title. Every time he asked for title so he could insure the vehicle, take on ownership, it was, oh, I'm getting married, Shirley's out of town, blah, 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 all kinds of excuses until it was found out that that was a stolen motor coach. It was a motor coach that belonged to someone else. They ended up trying to make it civil, no prostit, all of the things, and it came back. It's in the indictment. It's part of the pattern of activity that has led him to a RICO behavior, RICO activity indictment, multi-count. Okay. Felonious. Okay. All right, guys. Clink, clink, period. Okay. On some clink, clink. Okay. All right, you guys. Love you. Mean it. You guys have a wonderful rest of your afternoon. And I'll see you guys in a few hours, and then we will get on to handling that silly business. Okay. That silly business from the guy named Nesto. Okay. Oh, I was going to close out with the Nesto outro, but it's probably more appropriate I just do this. Okay. I'll see you later. Bye, guys.